What's going on, people? Myke C-Town here with my weekly review of the latest episode of Fear the Walking Dead. This is episode 4, entitled Not Fade Away. Jumping right into this, I wasn't super hot on this episode. It was okay, but I wasn't loving it. It seemed to be a whole lot of family drama again. And it's not exactly what I'm in the mood for with this show. You know, they're still trying to instill some kind of emotional investment into these people, and it's just not working for me. And this is going to be a problem if they're going to start basing a lot of the show on things specifically happening to these people, especially if they have nothing to do with zombies. Starting out, the whole side story with Doug, the neighbor that's losing his mind, I just don't care, you know? Nothing about that made any sense. He's freaking out over nothing, almost gets himself killed over nothing. He will only talk to Travis, even though, according to Travis, he barely knows him. You know, it just seemed like a bit of a pointless stretch to me. I did like the introduction of Lieutenant Moyers. He reminds me a bit of Shane. You know, you can tell he doesn't really care about the people. He's only out for himself. You kind of have to start to think, like, how far is he going to go with this, and how bad is he actually going to get? Travis is still getting on my nerves, being a lame dumbass. You know, out for a fucking jog while the world's falling apart, waving at neighbors and shit. You know, still needlessly trusting every goddamn body, thinking he's besties with Moyer. Walking around trying to be the neighborhood public relations person while neglecting his own family. He's just a fucking dork, man. And speaking of Travis, further proof that Travis is a little bitch. You know, Madison pulled the hit it and quit it on him, bruh. And that shit was hilarious to me. They got it on in the car, and this fool's over here trying to get his cuddle on, man. Who the fuck is cuddling in the zombie apocalypse, man? I done told y'all. Zombie apocalypse happens, I'm running through every goddamn piece of booty I can find. And I ain't cuddling with nobody. I'm gonna tell you why. They might have pneumonia, heart disease, a bad cold, whatever. So, as Bernie Mac says, you give them the dick, and they might just die in the middle of the night. Next thing you know, you waking up in the morning, and they're fucking chewing on your balls, but not in a freak nasty way, in a goddamn, I'm trying to eat you from the fucking bottom up type of way. I ain't going out like that. So for me, after they take a ride on the C-Town cycle, they got to go. I mean, they gotta at least go sleep in another room or some shit. I'm locking this shit after they walk out too, bruh. Anyway, Travis is trying to get his snuggle on, and Madison's like, nah, bruh, I'm out. And this fool starts begging, no, Madison, that was nice. Please, come back. I thought we were having fun. Please, Madison. Like a little punk, and he has this little dumbass look on his face that makes you want to just punch him in his fucking eye. Oh, punk ass. Again, Daniel Salazar comes through as being the smartest person on the show, the only one that seems to be headstrong about not trusting the fucking government. You know, the story he has about the government taking these men when he was a little kid in his village and swearing that they bring these men back, and then later on he finds the men floating dead in the water. That was some real shit, and he says how his father tells him that men do these things not because of evil, they do evil because of fear. And at that moment, he says he realizes that his father's a fool for believing there's a difference. That whole scene was one of the deepest and most well-written scenes I've seen from this show. And the guy who plays Daniel Salazar, I shouldn't have been a lazy asshole and looked up his name before I started filming this video, but he's a great actor. You know, he's very convincing in this scene, so the whole thing was just really well done. Another well done scene is when Madison realized that Nick's been stealing morphine from Hector, the elderly next door neighbor, and she rolls up on him and beats that ass. Like you would expect a mom to do, especially a mom that's been trying to hold her fucked up family together during a goddamn zombie apocalypse. You know, the look on her face, and it wasn't even the anger, it was this look of pain and frustration that she has as she's slapping the shit out of Nick. That seemed super real. So actress who plays Madison, again, I was too lazy to look your name up before filming this video, great job there. The whole thing about the supposed people in the building that are outside of the compound, Chris sees him while he's hanging out on top of the roof. You know, they're flashing this light at him. I found that to be pretty interesting. Like, who are these people? Why are they still out there? Why are they holed up in this building? Why did the military not find them? You know, all this leads to Madison doing something that was just totally unbelievable for this episode. She sneaks out of the compound to see if she can get word on what's going on out there. I would have believed this stupid-ass hero behavior from someone like Chris or Travis. You know, maybe even stupid-ass Alicia. But not Madison, you know. She just doesn't come off as that kind of person, you know. But it's nice that she's finally waking up and realizing that there's some crazy shit going on, and she's falling back a bit on being so damn naive. But this whole scenario of her going out there to find these people just really wasn't believable with what we've known of Madison so far, which is that she's kind of stupid. Anyway, she goes out there and she finds people who have been murdered who aren't actually zombies. So that starts to present this really interesting idea. You know, The Walking Dead has always pushed this idea of the living being far more dangerous than the dead. You know, fear the living, fight the dead. And they're really pushing that idea, I feel like, with this series. You know, clearly these government officials are not what they seem to be, and they're not to be trusted. They don't even hide it at all. You know, they come in out the jump, like being forceful and doing like really sketchy things and brutal shit. To me, that's pretty much how I envision the government, the cops, the army, all of them to act in a situation like this of serious martial law. And what these army guys are doing in this compound is actually kind of interesting too. They're completely isolating, or as we may suspect, killing the weak. You know, they're removing sick people like Hector, like the injured Griselda, Daniel Salazar's wife, and even the mentally sick like Doug. But the question that starts to come is, you know, what are they trying to accomplish here? You know, do they know more about this outbreak than they're leading on? You know, are they removing these people because they seem to be people that could die sooner than others because they're sick, and maybe they know that the virus isn't only spread through bites or anything like that. They know that regardless of how you die, you're going to become a zombie. You know, are they removing people like Doug because they're afraid that since he's a whack job, he could kill somebody for whatever reason and then cause an outbreak that way? So I don't know, it's kind of interesting. You start to think like maybe these government guys, they do know what this is and or at least they know how it's spread. It kind of sucks that we may never know who those people were in that house that Chris saw, since the episode ends with Travis sitting on the roof and he looks out and he sees the house that Chris was talking about, and he hears gunshots coming from that house. And we could pretty much assume it's the government officials, seeing as how Travis has told them that there are these people out there and asked for the guy, Moyer, to go look for them. So now it could be that the government guys went in to save them, and they ran into zombies, and maybe the gunshots were them killing zombies. But I don't know. I'm more leaning towards the government guys, the army guys went in there and they actually killed them. Why? We don't know yet. So that is the thing that's kind of interesting about this whole scenario. So that whole mystery about what these army guys are actually doing, I think that's going to be pretty entertaining if they play it out properly, you know? But along with that, you get quite a few other questions that come from this episode. You know, what is the government's end game here? You know, who is this Dr. Exner? Is she a bad guy? Or is she not? Is she hot? Yeah, she's kind of hot. Is she as hot as Ophelia? I don't know yet. What's going to happen with Liza since she left with the army guys? What's going on with Nick? You know, is Nick going to have to somehow break out? Are they going to have to somehow break in and get Nick out? And how are they going to fight against these army guys? Because they don't really seem to be all that bright or innovative or brave or any of those things. So I think that whole idea is going to be kind of interesting, how that whole thing plays out. The citizens of this small little compound versus the army. So yeah, overall, again, I wasn't super hyped on this episode. I did find parts of it to be a bit boring. I found parts of it to be a bit pointless. But other parts I think were necessary. The whole creating of tension between the army and the citizens. I think that that's going to play out to be very important because somehow that compound has to come down at some point. And that's where I think the story is going to start to pick up. These people are going to have to be moved out of the compound and into this crazy ass real world where all of this shit is going down. And I want to see how they react. I want to see who starts taking charge. I want to see who starts falling back. I want to see who starts getting picked off. You know, I want to see how these people interact with each other once they're really thrown into the thick of the shit. So let's hope, since I think there's only 2 more episodes left before it goes off, let's hope that they do something. You know, that they start really pulling our attention into the show. That's it. Let me know, what did you guys think of this episode? Do you agree that it was a bit kind of slow and a little bit pointless? Or did you love it? Did you love the build-up of the emotional ties between everybody? Are you looking forward to the next episode where we figure out what's going on with the people that they're taking away from the compound? How do you feel about Lieutenant Moyer? How do you feel about the government officials? Who's hotter, Ophelia or Dr. Exner? These are all burning questions that we need to really analyze, people. This is serious shit. Alright, so put all your comments in the comment section down there. And as usual, thank you for living, thank you for loving, thank you for being you. And I will see you guys next time. Alright? Peace, bitches!